Well, with the formalities having been completed, we can now get ready for the football. Welcome to Frank Holohan Soccer Complex for this Saturday afternoon twilight fixture, if you will, of NPL Men's Victoria action. Dandenong City playing host to the St Albans Saints in a game with significant implications for both teams in their respective challenges in season 2024. Coming into today's game, Dandy City hoping for back-to-back wins, having endured a bit of a barren run in the couple of months prior to the last 2 weeks. While St Albans, they've got it all to play for, hoping to break a serious losing streak of 8 consecutive league games, and they'll hope to do so at one of the tougher venues to come in Victorian football, particularly when this Dandenong City team are up and running, as they have been at times this season, of course, returning to the top flight under Nick Tolios. And under new management themselves are St Albans, Cam Watson recently taking the reins. So two of the most promising and rated coaches, highly rated coaches in Victorian football, going head to head. And with their teams having it all very much to play for. We'll run through the starting 11s for both sides soon after kickoff, as we are getting ready to get underway. It'll be the hosts, Dandenong City, who will start the game as we tick a minute past 5 p.m. local time. And with the final checks complete, we can indeed get underway. My name is Oscar Rutherford. Thank you for your company for this afternoon's action. And Dandenong City don't take long to make their way forward. An early shot on target. Fired in there by Will Bauer. Bauer, one of the goal scorers last week for Dandenong City in their 2-0 win over Altona Magic. And the team that got that win largely unchanged for Nick Tolios. Just the one movement in the starting 11, and it's a sizable one as well. King Kenny Athew, not available for selection for this afternoon's game. He scored the other goal that Dandenong City scored last time out. Jack Webster, though, does return to the starting lineup, so one experienced head goes out, another comes in. Although interesting to see how Nick Tolios opts to shuffle his pack, having lost a striker and replaced him with a centre half. It's also just the one change for Cam Watson and his St Albans team. Nelson Tushongo replacing Ivan Razumich in the starting 11. Noah Langarak is our central referee tonight. As we see now the first spell of possession for the visitors, St Albans. And a first touch as well for Alan Jerez. The attempted lofted ball over the top is a little bit too much on it for Tushongo. St Albans, we mentioned the serious losing streak that they've been on in the league. Last week's game, though, was a positive outing on the whole, even despite failing to pick up any points. A 2-1 defeat at Avenger Park. Just about the toughest place to go in Victorian football. Avondale, not quite at their best last time out, but did nonetheless pick up the 3 points. This is an early opportunity for St Albans. And it's a vital intervention from Danny Kim. Cutting the ball off from Scott Bakor. But nonetheless an early corner for St Albans. Has been raining in Melbourne southeast throughout the day, and there are just little spots of rain in the area, so hopefully we'll avoid the majority of that for this contest. The corner delivery is a flat one, to say the least. James Ricobene sends the long ball over the top. And the header from the captain, Michael Gergich, couldn't pick out a teammate. Instead, it will be the first attempt to restart the play from goalkeeper John Hall. It's been a stalwart in between the sticks for Dandenong City this season. Mentioned also that that win for Dandenong City last week coming at a really important time, considering that before then they'd been on a run of just one win in 7 games, albeit taking on some of the big boys in NPL Victoria this season. Webster using his body to shield the ball and ends up winning the throw. Dandenong City, as a result of their poor run over the last couple of months, have found themselves now 8 points outside of the top 6. If you go back 6 weeks or so, they were right on the cusp of it and made such a bright start to the season having been promoted from NPL2 last time out. This is Danny Kim. We'll play it back to Webster, who looks long towards Tim Atharinos, who looks like he'll be taking up, at least in part, that central striker role for this afternoon's game. Bit of space here for the long-range shot, and it's a lethal effort as well. Fired by George Lambatarides. Just a little bit too much height on it, though. So a positive start for the hosts. Of course, two Croatian clubs going head-to-head in front of the Filipovic stand. And St Albans very much demonstrating the new Cam Watson footballing philosophy, playing out from the back. Shongo and Jerez exchange passes. The press is applied and Lambatarides almost able to pinch it off the fullback's toes. That time the ball is cut out. Strong work in the middle from Tom Giannakopoulos. You see the high intensity start to this game. Nobody having a whole lot of time in possession. This is Stefan Bresovic. Retreats to his goalkeeper, and both teams, well, hopefully we'll see a very aesthetically pleasing game of football, with two teams committed to their footballing principles. Very much feels the trajectory of many of the teams in this competition, the more ball-playing style. This game right in the middle of a jam-packed Saturday of NPL Men's Victoria action. 6 games in total, this is the 4th of them, a couple more to come later tonight. Sesnik goes in towards Atharinos. And a pretty clear-cut foul, though, as the ball is coughed up at the back by Dandy City. So another set-piece opportunity for St Albans. Ball sent into a central area. Right to the head of Will Bauer, though. And the attempt to nod it forward is mopped up at the back. James Ricobene, one of the experienced heads brought into the St Albans team for the 2024 campaign. Long ball sent up, looking to pick out the big number 9, Scott Bakor. Bresovic felt the pressure from Alan Jerez. Tashongo takes the throw short. Bakor and King combine. Now Jerez back to Gergic. Ricobene misplaces the pass. Chance for Dandy City to spring forward. Ball sent long and wide towards Sesnik. Almost able to keep the ball in play. In the end, though, forced to concede the goal kick. St Albans coming into this weekend second bottom of the NPL Men's Victoria ladder, largely as a consequence of that losing run that they've been on over the last couple of months. Well, looking around the grounds, the 3 games that started earlier on this afternoon have all now completed, and all, it appears, finishing with a 1-1 scoreline. Including a late equaliser for Melbourne Knights at Avenger Park to grab a point from Avondale. And very much relevantly, or of relevance to these teams, the late equaliser for Port Melbourne against Moreland City. So a chance for Dandenong City to nonetheless make up ground on the Sharkies. Whilst St Albans will need to take at least a point if they want to remain clear in the points tally of Moreland City. Made a bit of a revival over the last few weeks, Moreland. This is Webster. Looks out to the right-hand side where Zidius hoping to slide the ball into the feet of Lambatarides. James Ricabene. Back to Marko Bulic, who's dislodged Jasko Karanovic in that starting goalkeeper position. Joseph Cholina tries the turn, was the goal scorer for St Albans in that 2-1 defeat to Avondale last week. King's touch almost invites Valley Cessnick, and still going. Sidious puts in the cross.
Second ball!
So Tom Giannakopoulos looks to be playing in a more advanced role than he has at times this season. Stefan Bresovic's return allowing for that. It's a clever ball slid through. It's a good one as well. Will Bauer wasn't able to get the shot away. There's a bit of a scramble in the box. Marko Bulic comes away with the ball in the end. Bauer scoring a sensational goal early on at Paisley Park last week, which set the tone for Dandenong City to get themselves back on track and pick up the 3 points. Cholina. Ball spread nicely. And the long ball from Summerskill can't, in the end, pick out a teammate. Brian Summerskill very much the creative outlet for this St Albans lineup. Don't be surprised to see a lot of the attacking play come through their number 8. John Hall takes the free kick quickly. Sends it out to Bauer and has supporting run provided by Jackson Lino. Gergic getting across. So Jackson Lino will take the long throw. Sends it into the penalty area. The flick on head is a decent idea. Will Bauer, though, unable to keep his balance as he tried to get the shot away from a tight angle. So the end result is a Dynamo goal kick. St Albans do have a good record at this ground over the last decade or so. In fact, the only time that Dandenong City have beaten St Albans at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex in an NPL game is back in the very first game that these two played in this iteration of the division back in June 2014. Since that time, 3 wins and a draw for St Albans. Although this particular outing will probably be tougher than some of those previous years, just considering the respective positions of the clubs. And you think the last 3 meetings between these clubs have all been won by St Albans, and all by a scoreline of 2-1. So perhaps that is an omen for what we may see tonight. Dandenong City will back themselves to get a positive result, considering how much stronger they look as a team than they did last time they were in the top flight. Run forward and attempt to release down the left-hand side. Getting back was Webster to cut out the attack. Almost a moment of miscommunication between Gergic and Ricabene, but they work it out in the end. Lambatarides has been heavily involved in the final third early. Now Kim hopes to play through Sesnick, who does prevent the concession of the goal kick, but the alternative is only a little bit better in the form of a throw. So this is James Zidius to take the throw for Dandenong City. Sends it into the area. It finds its way out towards Lambatarides. And no shortage of ambition with that attempt. Although it was never likely, considering the position he was in. Nonetheless, the hosts just taking a little bit of control over the last few minutes. Looking to pin back St Albans in their defensive third. It's a risky pass to King, but they worked it out, at least temporarily, St Albans, and that was a high-risk move. Marko Bulic inviting the pressure from Will Bauer. Not punished on that occasion, St Albans, but certainly not the kinds of positions that they'll want to be in too often. We see this time it's a bit more forward thinking, playing out from the back. Alan Harris, though, is followed all the way by Jackson Leno. Once more, Gergic gets an important touch, but it only relieves the pressure temporarily. Coming across is Scott Bakor, and he and Harris run into each other, perhaps with a little bit of a shove from Leno. It's worked out in the end for City. Cross comes in from Bauer. No one was there to put it away. You saw the concern on Marko Bulic's face just for a moment as he realised it was too far away from him. Playing with plenty of courage and optimism, Dandenong City. Almost a misplaced back pass from Bresovic. And the offside flag will bring an end to the hosts' attack. Shongo. Back to Gergic, now inside. This is Harris. Works himself a little bit of space. It was nicely done. And now space on the right-hand side for King. King cuts into his left, gets the shot away. And it's the first attempt on target for St Albans. And a nice flowing attacking move as well. Chance for Atharinos, gets the shot away. And the snap attempt. I also have to say that Cam Watson not exactly happy with how his defence marshalled the opposition attackers. But yet again, they get away unscathed, St Albans. This is Riccobene. long crossfield ball towards Alan Jerez. The former gully man not able to take control, a little bit too much height on it. Throwing short, Bauer closed down. Referee happy for play to continue. Summerskill turns one way, then the other. And now the 1-2 attempt between Shongo and King doesn't work out, much to King's frustration. She might have been able to hear. And Batteridis again. Tried the clever move with his feet. The pass was overhit. So the game just settled down a couple of, we'll take it a step down, a tempo or two. Both teams in their more familiar patterns. Some of that early enthusiasm having reduced. King opts to play the ball over the top towards Divin. Scott Pacord does well to keep the ball in play. Still making his run, getting past Brezovic, and looks to pick out Jerez. It's a lovely ball as well. And Jerez blocked by Lino. And well, after a positive 5 or so minutes for Dandy City, St Albans very much working their way back into this game. And right now, they're in the ascendancy. And Batteridis, though, looks to send the ball in the opposite direction. In some spaces, Bauer keeps the ball in play and has Tshongo for company. Gets the cross in. That one too close to Bullich. Not having Kenny Athieu in the lineup, maybe making those kinds of situations a little bit easier to defend for St Albans. Kenny Athieu leading the scoring so far this season in the league for Dandenong City with the 5. Although all of Lam Batteridis, Giannakopoulos and Atharinos, who are all the next top scorers, are in tonight's starting 11. Ball spread to the right-hand side. This is Webster. Getting nosebleeds high up, Jack Webster, and got the shot away. It was a powerful effort and a strong save from Marco Bullich. Jack Webster popping up in an unlikely position, but very nearly beating Marco Bullich. A sharp save from the goalkeeper, who's been kept busy early in this game. Corner routine for Dandy City. Getting across is Gergic. Just a little clip on Tim Atharinos will allow City another set-piece chance. Just a little bit of a debate going on right in front of us on the touchline between Nick Tolios and the 4th official about where the substitutes are being sent to warm up. We're back on the pitch. Nick Tolios' team have another chance to open the scoring from a dead ball situation. That one has plenty of height and it's kept in with the initial header. And does enough to earn His team a corner does, Tom Giannakopoulos. Seeing his height and athleticism on display. And a series of set pieces for Dandenong City in quick succession as well. So testing the defensive prowess of St Albans right at the minute. Approaching 25 minutes gone at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex. This corner's another deep one. And did find a teammate's head. It was always unlikely to trouble Marko Bulic from such a tight angle. So St Albans surviving a number of early tests into their defence. Hasn't exactly been a strength of theirs this season, the defensive end of the game. 39 goals conceded so far this campaign. That's coming in 15 games, so almost 3 a game is the rate at which they're going. Or rather the rate at which other teams are going against them. This is Bakor. Makes some space for himself and a little bit of a snatched attempt to send through Divin, who has swapped wings with Alan Jerez. Webster goes long and direct, but dropping a little bit too short was Tim Atharinos for that kind of ball. Maybe just seeing the consequence of a player who isn't as natural in that central striking position as they are out on the wing. They're very much aware of where to find the back of the net. Tim Atharinos, an impressive goal scoring record over the last couple of seasons in a few different divisions. Bresovic goes to his centre-back partner in Webster. Seeing what a significant inclusion he is to this Dandenong City 11. Such an important player, both in attack and defensive, in attacking and defensive phases of play. Lambatarides gets the flick on header. Tashongo coming back to support. Bauer though gets the cross inside. Rico Bene read it best. Now Kim loses out to Summerskill. Charging forward is the St Albans midfielder, forced to be patient and use the supporting run from King. King gets past one and another, and now Summerskill sends the ball into the area. Bakor looks for a supporting run. It finds its way back to Brian Summerskill. So a bit of an inventive way forward for St Albans. Tashongo. Test for Divin. Gets the ball past Leno and to Tashongo. Had a swing and a miss as he mistimed his attempted cross. And now Leno cops a bit of a shove. And some calls for a yellow card for Josh Divin, but looks as if our referee happy to let that one go. St Albans cleverly breaking up the counter-attacking chance. Danny Kim again. This time back to Bresovic. Man brought in to Dandenong City from Bentley Greens. And finally now getting a run of games at his new club. Perez. Back to King and now out to the left-hand side. Once more King in midfield. They're not having an easy time picking their way through the Dandenong City team though, St Albans. Rico Bene. You hear the shout from the Dandy City bench, don't sit deep. Perhaps happy to take on the risk of a long ball over the top as a fairly low percentage route forward. And that pass overhit towards Divin. Divin though wrestles it back. So a nice spell of possession for St Albans. That pass though is risky. Tim Atharinos goes for goal and punishes St Albans. Tim Atharinos read it quicker than anyone else, and it was a clinical finish as well. Curling past the goalkeeper and into the bottom corner. And Dandenong City have themselves a lead at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex. And yet again, St Albans find themselves in the position of giving themselves a mountain to climb if they are to get something out of this game. A lovely finish from Atharinos. Didn't have a lot of time to think about it, really just instinct as he got the shot away. And so, as we tick a minute or so past 30 minutes having been played, it's the hosts, Dandenong City, who find themselves in the lead. Well, you wonder how that goal will affect the St Albans approach. They've been very much competitive up to this point. Referee Noah Langarek just doing well to keep a lid on some of the tensions which are bubbling away right at the minute. So it's a Stefan Bresovic long ball forward. Flick on header finds its way to Lambatarides with the snapshot strike into the far corner. It's unstoppable. He hit it so cleanly. And just a minute after their first, Dandenong City double their lead. They've struck twice in quick succession and all of a sudden have this game right where they wanted. A brilliant finish from George Lambatarides. And things have fallen apart very quickly from a St Albans perspective. Well, the question had to be asked, how would St Albans respond? And the response has not been there. Dandenong City capitalising on a slightly dejected opposition. And Lambatarides, who's been posing a threat all night so far, has a goal to his name as his reward.
Keep playing, Joey, keep playing. Come on.
And just like that, St Albans have given themselves a mammoth task if they're to avoid a 9th consecutive league defeat. And with Moreland City having picked up a point this afternoon as well, As things stand, St Albans will be bottom of NPL Men's Victoria at the end of the weekend.
Come on, get him going. Come on, Jimmy, let's go. Come on. Good, guys. Good. Scotty, get him going a little bit. Come on.
So where is the response going to come from if you're St Albans? Captain Michael Gergich has spent a lot of the game in these kinds of positions in his own half, just surveying the scene ahead, hoping that something presents itself, as has his centre-back partner James Riccobene. You see Cholina and King vaguely presenting themselves as options, but Danny Kim doing well to keep a close eye on both of them. Well, that's about as good a result as they can hope for the way things are going right now. St Albans, a throw on the halfway line. Cholina. Put it out to Shongo, now out to Divin, back to Shongo. And they've gotten through the press on that occasion. Summerskill sets Divin a task. Lino got there first. And his sky ball does find Giannakopoulos, who gets it out to Bauer. And well, Bauer lost control. That's a nice passing move, but again the final part of the chain not quite demonstrating the requisite connection. It's not the first time that we've seen Tshongo and King not on the same wavelength. And the foul call that time on Cholina. You can see the eagerness for Michael Gergich to get the game back underway. Our referee, Noah Langerak, just wanting a moment to have a conversation with Will Bauer. Resisting the temptation to hand out a yellow card. And St Albans, you feel, desperately need something tangible as a response in the final 10 minutes or so that remain in this first half. They are to give themselves a hope of getting something from this game. Riccobene to vaguely work their way forward. Alan Jerez, though, tackles a good one, and the last touch off the Argentine winger. Summerskill has the ball pinched from his toes by Giannakopoulos. Now the long ball over the top. Well, both of the goal scorers were lurking in the area, but Marko Bulic got there first.
Hey, go hard. Come on, Joey, Maxi, let's go.
Well, the good news is the rain has largely stayed away from the venue, at least up until this point. As darkness descends in Melbourne southeast. This is Cholina. As the run being made by Divin does eventually use that option. Jackson Lino is quick to close it down. Summerskill now. Back to Tshongo. Got past Bauer. Still Tshongo out to the left-hand side. And chance for the shot to get away from Jerez. Giannakopoulos was back there supporting the defence. Now the cross is sent in once more. This one found the head of Divin. Lacked the power with the attempt. And it's a comfortable claim for John Hall. Does look as if he will have a little bit of a stoppage for an injury concern for one of the Dandenong City players. Not quite sure who it is right at the minute, but does look in a little bit of discomfort. It's James Zidius. Looks to be slowly making his way back to his feet. Not a lot of sympathy in the form of any medical support coming from the bench. So hopefully nothing too serious and the fullback is able to continue on. And eventually play will get back underway with John Hall picking up the ball in his penalty area. Sends it long out towards Bauer now. It's a nice touch and ball inside towards Giannakopoulos. Now Kim, Sesnick back to Webster. Out to the right-hand side where Zidius plays the cross in. The offside flag, I think, against Atharinos, though. Curtails the attack. Once more, the touch is too heavy from Josh Divin. And the patience of Noah Langerak has run out. St Albans winger will go into the book. After another foul, this one on Jackson Leno. You hear Cam Watson trying to encourage his team to keep the energy up for these final 5 minutes of play. But even in his voice, you can sense the dejection. A thoroughly enjoyable first half an hour where both teams had very much showed up and brought their level. But a defensive error followed by a lapse in concentration just a minute later. And Dandenong City are very capable of punishing you, as they have done this evening to St Albans. Here is the score of that first goal, Atharinos. Crowded out in the end, now setting away Alan Jerez. Gets past Webster, continuing the run. And the cross comes in, that one much too close to John Hall. And hasn't been asked to make any spectacular saves in this first half as the Dandy City goalkeeper. It's been a relatively comfortable evening so far. Certainly more so than for Marko Bulic at the other end. James Rukabene inviting some pressure in his attempts to venture forward. He does cough up the ball in the end. And his teammates are there to spare his blushes. Bauer inside, Giannakopoulos. Pass. Not quite where he was hoping it would end up. And that creates another counter-attacking chance for St Albans. Divin goes direct, and that drew a better save from Hall. The Dandy City goalkeeper was well positioned and did well to smother the ball. Very much one of those wingers, Josh Divin, who you know what you're going to get week in, week out. Just that forward-thinking directness, use of the pace and the power. That's a poor giveaway. And Will Bauer will look to punish. Gets the cross inside, it's a brilliant one, and Atherinos has somehow not been able to score. Off the underside of the crossbar, the ball has somehow not ended up over the line. So St Albans given a reprieve, and can they perhaps take advantage of it? It's a lovely first touch from Scott Bacour. Nicely marshalled by Bresovic. And closing it down was Hall in goal. So the end-to-end football has very much resumed. But more than anything, Dandenong City will be wondering how they don't have their third goal yet. It could come now. This is Bauer. Once again, standing up, facing Tshongo. Gets the ball into the middle of the box. Now Atherinos gets the shot away. It's a strong take from Bullich. And so as we head into 2 minutes of first half stoppage time, I do sense that there could yet be even more drama, just considering how the last couple of minutes have gone. Although we do hear the call from Nick Tolios to his team to relax. You'd imagine he'd be very happy to take the 2-0 scoreline into the break. Tim Atherinos will be glad he scored one, because if that were the only good chance he'd had in this half, he would be kicking himself that he wasn't able to put it away. Well, kicking himself even more so than I'm sure he will be nonetheless. This is Alan Jerez. Tried to slide through his striker, Bacour. He's there to be a late response for St Albans. Was sent in deep. Summerskill was the target. But now, Will Bauer took it upon himself to carry the whole counter-attack. Safe to say he's come closer to goal with some of his attempts tonight than that one. So perhaps time for one more venture forward for St Albans. Gergic into Tshongo. Cut out from Summerskill though by Atherinos. And can Dandy City give themselves one more chance? Atherinos has the support inside from Giannakopoulos, but the tug on the opposition arm draws the referee's whistle, and the half-time break arrives soon after. And so we head into the break with Dandenong City in firm control at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex. 2-0 the score at the break. Tim Atherinos opening the scoring just after the half-hour mark. And then a second goal coming just about a minute later with a long ball set piece and snapshot powered into the far corner by George Lambatarides. So it's another significant challenge that St Albans have set themselves if they are to break this losing run. They'll head into the second half with plenty to do. The score at the break at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex is Dandenong City 2, St Albans 0. Welcome back to Frank Holohan Soccer Complex for the second half of this NPL Men's Victoria clash. At the break, Dandenong City in a commanding position, a 2-0 advantage as they head into the second 45 against St Albans. Goals from Tim Atharinos and George Lambatarides in quick succession, putting Cam Watson's St Albans team facing the prospect of a 9th straight league defeat. As for Nick Tolios' Dandenong City, there's the potential for a second consecutive league win, which would very much keep their chances of a top 6 finish alive. There was one change made at the break by Cam Watson for his team. Joey Monek has been introduced into the game, and looks as if Michael Gergich was the player replaced. So one experienced player withdrawn and replaced by another. Monek taking up this left fullback position. Back pass there, hoping to find James Rukabene. Managed to get the ball out of a tight angle, or at least looked as if he did, but I think the ball curled out of play in his attempt to loft it forward. Vision somewhat obscured just by that tree. But in the end, St Albans have found their way out of trouble. This is Joseph Challoner. Has support from Brian Summerskill, player who worked hard but wasn't able to create a lot of high-quality chances in that first half, and very much the story of St Albans' season. Rukabene got past Atharinos, but had a little bit too much to do in the end. So Dandy City take the throw short. Danny Kim getting the important toe in. Webster sends it up. This is Sesnick. Sesnick has it pinched from him by Josh Diven. And now perhaps a chance down the right-hand side with Alan Jerez. Instead, it's a more conservative approach, using Nelson Tshongo in that right fullback position and inside to Jacob Soverone. Sesnick. Important touch from Challoner though.
Not as deep as Joey and Maxi, but the extra one, yeah? Please.
Rukabene asked for someone to give him an option, and Monek obliged. Challoner plays it to the man who's taken up the centre-back post in Soverone. To Shongo inside. St Albans have come out with some early intent to get themselves on the ball and maybe control the tempo of this game a little bit more. Dandenong City have the luxury of being able to defend for large portions of this half and maybe threaten on the counter more than they did in the first half. To Shongo. Wins his side a throw. Tshongo inside to Summerskill. Has support from Challoner. St Albans, this was their challenge for so much of the first half, and they had the ball in their own half or even in the Dandy City half. They just didn't have that outlet to really get themselves into a dangerous area is reflected in their lack of goals this season, just the 16 in total from their 15 league games coming into tonight. And if they do indeed fail to score for the remainder of this contest, that'll take them to 16 out of 16, so just a goal per game, which isn't an especially promising ratio if you are a team with ambitions to work your way out of the relegation dogfight. A situation that at the moment St Albans very much find themselves in. This is Monek. Has Divin created some space for himself before sending it high and long into the night sky. As well defended by Bresovic though. This is Summerskill. Looks in board. Perez, one way then the other. Slides it towards Summerskill again. But getting across to shut down the chance was Valley Sesnik. And the end result is a St Albans corner. So an early chance in the second half for the visitors. If they were to get a goal in the next couple of minutes, and no doubt you'd feel the tension around Frank Holohan go up a gear. Maybe it is just that one goal that would really give them that burst of momentum that they need right at the moment. Attempted cross in is blocked. Jacob Sovereign pushing up to support the attack. Throw in. Cleared away initially, and Atharinos does the same. But a bit of territorial control now for St Albans. Of course, the other aspect to St Albans' attempts to get their season on track is the recruitment of Cam Watson as a new coach, taking over from Ryan McGuffey, looking to implement this very aesthetically pleasing style of play, and as we saw at Hume, what can also be a highly functional approach to football. But a club like St Albans, where I don't think it's unreasonable to say that hasn't been the style of play with which they've been traditionally associated, certainly not recently. So it's a big task that Cam Watson and Billy Selesky have before them. We're seeing maybe some little sprouts of potential. Once again, they look to work their way through the press and do so fairly effectively. Monek and Harris to the 1-2. All played back to Marco Bulic again. Bulic, who made a really bright start to this game, number of important interventions and saves. Ball seemed to have gone out of play. St Albans very much controlling the possession right at the moment, or that's a poor giveaway. Kim couldn't get there ahead of Cholina though, and maybe that will create the space that St Albans have been hoping for. Chance for a cross to be put in, and eventually it is. Divin's ball was headed out. So, we will see another corner from this position for St Albans. See the routine with all the players making a run at a similar time to try and give too many fires to put out for the Dandy City defence. That ball though into the midst of John Hall. And the set piece deliveries haven't been up to the required standard so far tonight for St Albans. This is Alan Jerez. Into Summerskill. Some trickery attempted from Cholina. And Lambatarides wins back the ball for Dandenong City. It's not too often that they go such an extended period without some time on the ball, Nick Tolios' team. And we see them just now looking to enjoy the fact that they've got the ball at their feet once more. And again, the ball is just gone out of play narrowly. And that break and play will allow St Albans to look to their bench again. This time it will be the man who was on a yellow card from the end of that first half, Josh Diven, who will be replaced. And it's Nick Murray, the man brought into the club, having played his early football in Bendigo. Nick Murray brought into the game as Cam Watson searches for an alternative route to goal. Now that they do have the possession very much in their control. Just over 10 minutes played in this second half, but still yet to create the kind of high quality opportunity that they'll need. This is Alan Jerez. Defensive minded pass. Almost got himself back on the ball. This is Summerskill. And Zidius slightly deflected attempt at a clearance. In the end, has the ball at his feet once more, James Zidius. But Summerskill's pass was a low percentage one. This is Hall. Sent Harris the wrong way. Oh, we've seen plenty of Joseph Cholina in the second half so far. This is Murray. Plays it inside. The Dandenong City defence, well, they've been asked plenty of questions early in this second half. And up to now, they've had all the answers. And as we progress deeper into the night, very much feeling like the first day of winter as it is. This is Murray once again. Now Lambatarides. Out to the left-hand side, and the attempted ball in behind the St Albans defence was somewhat rushed. Did mention in the first half that there are a series of other games, both having already taken place and still to come later tonight in NPL Men's Victoria. The trio of 1-1 draws that came from this afternoon's games. Joey Monek there advancing into the opposition half, and Jerez comes away with the ball, and the reverse pass was a nice idea. Just asking a little bit too much of Nick Murray. Those three games, Moreland City, Port Melbourne, Manningham United, Green Gully and Avondale Melbourne Knights, all finishing with a point apiece. Which really means that the big winners from the day so far are Dandenong City, if they're able to claim all 3 points. Still to come later tonight, or just kicking off in fact, on the west side of Melbourne, Altona Magic and Oakley Cannons in the early minutes of that one. And then maybe the game of the day, Hume City taking on South Melbourne up in Broadmeadows. That one kicking off in around 45 minutes. Well, they've got some stiff competition for game of the day on the face of it. Of course, Avondale Melbourne Knights, always a thrilling game, as this afternoon was as well. And it does appear as if Dynamo will, for the third time, be looking to their bench. Cam Watson doing everything he can to maintain the control that his side have earned themselves early in this half, and just continuing to throw new challenges at Dandenong City. Cholina's back pass puts Bullich under a little bit of pressure, but the goalkeeper thought his way through it cleverly. Backor couldn't beat Lino. And there was a chance for the long ball. Webster was happy to let it run. Just for a moment you thought maybe Alan Jerez had the pace to latch onto the ball. Atharinos though sent it through to Lambatarides. Woolwich was there to claim the ball though. To Shongo. Summerskill. Heads up towards the core. And maybe a good time for this St Albans substitution to come, just with a little bit of the momentum having dropped off. It will be the last involvement of Scott Backor. Number 9 withdrawn. And it's Carter Ramsey who will make his way onto the park, the former Eastern Lions man. Of course, as much as St Albans have struggled in the league this season, the bright spot very much their Doherty Cup campaign, which is still alive. Into the 7th round of the competition now, having gotten past Green Gully most recently. And on that night it was Carter Ramsey who scored the only goal of the game. St Albans have been drawn to take on South Melbourne in around 10 days. So a big test for them at Lakeside, but a big opportunity as well. No doubt they'll go into that game with a lot more confidence. They're able to just start picking up the points again in the league. That back pass again puts Marco Woolwich under pressure, but the goalkeeper once more deals with it nicely. Shongo though ran out of space on the far side. This is Murray. Inside to Summerskill. Summerskill opts to do a 360, hoping that the numbers will come and support Jackson Lino. Marshaled his opponent very well indeed. Now this is Sesnick. Still Valley Sesnick. Lovely pass through. And Will Bauer had as good a chance as anyone has had in this second half. But the defensive effort, I think from Kishongo, was enough to put off the Dandy City forward. And really, for the first time in this half that we've seen Dandenong City pose that counter-attacking threat. So St Albans still just the 2 behind. And still feeling like they're in control of this game right at the minute. Well, at least in control of the general play, if not the scoreboard and the way the game's heading. This is Sesnick. Now Zidius. There's the long crossfield ball. It's a nice idea. But Bauer just couldn't manufacture the space he needed. Nick Murray. Had Danny Kim there, blocking that initial path of attack. Now Monek. Some nice play to get it back out to Murray. Now looks to take on Lino, but left the ball behind. And well, Jackson Lino, he's had a fabulous game so far and dealt with each of the challenges he's been dealt. Or he's been set, I should say. And so once more, Dandenong City repelled the St Albans attack. This is Summerskill. Almost lost track of the ball, but had an outlet in Ricobene. Summerskill's pass is a nice one into Ramsey. But possession coughed up. And Timatharinos looks to lead the counter. St Albans continuing their forward press though. All slid through. Ramsey couldn't get there ahead of Webster.
Have a swap with Joey. Get Joey up high so you can see things from deeper. Let him know.
And with over 20 minutes played in this second half, Dandy City do look as if they'll be readying their first substitution. And you wonder if at some point they'll start to just run out of fuel. St Albans, they've been putting everything into this second half and just trying to knock down the door or the wall that is the Dandenong City defence. Bauer. First touch a little bit too heavy though.
Joey, you and Maxie don't have to stay high. I just need you to be more mobile, yeah? Get it, Maxie, get it. Forward. Help him. Nice. Yeah. What do you see? Does look as if it will be Kjan van der Haast Bryant who will be substituted into this second half for Dandenong City. Number 16 standing ready on the sideline for the next break in play. Zidius almost coughed it up to Perez. Now Bresovic. And again, each time Dandenong City do get themselves back in possession, you sense that they're really content to just hold on to things and force St Albans to chase their opponents down. Just slowly sucking the life out of this game before suddenly bursting back into life as they are now. Sesnick's pass sets away Lino. Lino puts the cross in first time. Bullich got the fist and got there in time for the follow-up as well. Very nearly Georgetown Batteridis served up on a platter a golden chance for a second goal of the evening. Nicely done by Bullich in goal. Ricobene. Summerskill and Jerez. This is King. Just hearing Van der Haast Bryant being told to keep himself moving as his wait to come into the pitch has been extended longer than he might reasonably have anticipated. Haven't had a break and play for quite a number of minutes. This is Zidius. And now Webster's pass to Matharinos. Perhaps wasn't expecting it. Ramsey. Combination is effective between Summerskill and Cholina. Now the through ball from King though. This is out on a target and a free kick awarded by Noah Langerak, which will finally allow the Dandy City substitution to be made. And Haas Bryant will take the place of the scorer of the opening goal, Tim Atharinos. He's had a lively evening in the attack. And a fourth goal of the season to show for it. And well, that duration of the wait for the ball to go out of play or for a stoppage has meant that St Albans have also had time to ready their next moves. It's a double substitution from Cam Watson. Ivan Razumich and Luka Cabrera brought into the game for the final 20 minutes or so, and it's the end of the evening for both Max King and Nelson Tshongo. So with that, Cam Watson has exhausted his outfield substitution options. That's everything that he has to throw at the remainder of this game. And we will now see Dandenong City get themselves really deep in the St Albans half in this second 45. Chance for a corner to be delivered. Valley Sesnick looks like the one charged with the responsibility. You see the likes of Bresovic and Bauer, targets in the box, although not really giving either of them a chance at that kind of delivery. Well overhit. It's a bit of a disappointing way to end a rare foray forward for Dandy City. A rare foray, at least in this second 45. Well, as the minutes continue to tick by and the prospects of a St Albans revival appear slimmer and slimmer, I will take solace from the fact that the next couple of weeks, some big chances to pick up points, and they'll need to start picking them up if they are to make their way out of the relegation position and the bottom spot on the table, which they will finish the night in if they aren't able to turn this one around. See the yellow card. The second of the night, that one being shown to Jacob Sovereign. We're coming together, I think, with Van der Haas Bryant. But just looking at the next few weeks of fixtures for St Albans, they're back at home next time out when they take on Melbourne Knights. Then there's that Doherty Cup tie against South Melbourne before they head to CB Smith to take on Moreland City in what is just a mammoth encounter. And even after that, home game against Hume City before they go to Petty's Reserve to take on Manningham. So a series of games, some tough opponents, but also some big chances to pick up some points. Long ball sent in. Webster got the initial head on it. St Albans will be allowed to restart the play from their own penalty area. And really this game at the moment looking as if it will be decided by just a couple minutes spell, a defensive error, and a subsequent lapse in concentration, or a byproduct of just the dejection of having conceded that opening goal for St Albans. But other than that, they've more than held their own at Frank Holohan. This is Joey Monek making an enterprising run forward, but Bauer was there to win back the ball. Van der Haas Bryant made the leap, didn't quite time it correctly. And that challenge from Jackson Leno ends up in the concession of a corner. So another set piece chance for St Albans. And if they are to make a late charge in this game. The goal needs to come sooner rather than later. Heading into the final 15 minutes of the second 45. If they could grab one back here, they'd be very much in with a shout, making a late charge. It's a decent ball in. Ball bouncing around in the area. Eventually Cesnik does the defensive task of just hoofing it clear.
Come out here. Yeah, good.
Monek. Out to the left-hand side. Forced into retreat. Now looks inboard. Jolliner unable to track the ball. And with that create the opening for Dandenong City. And Bataridis is quickly closed down by Joey Monek, and then a pretty physical altercation between the two. Long ball sent over the top. Yet again Jackson Leno expertly positioned. And Bataridis into Giannakopoulos. Given away though. Crossfield ball for Jerez is a good one. And the shot came in from Nick Murray. It was a difficult chance on the volley and stretching out with his right boot. Wasn't able to keep it down. And that probably as good a chance as St Albans have been able to create in this whole second half. Nick Tolios will make use of his bench at the next break and play as well, it seems. Double substitution incoming. Or indeed a triple change. Sepinando, Brady Quinn and I believe Jacob Alexander all readying themselves. St Albans though continue their attacking intent. Harris used the body nicely. This is Ramsey. Unable to take control. Summerskill. Out to Monek. Gets the cross in. It's a decent ball. The header comes in and it's a brilliant save from John Hall. Lovely delivery from Joey Monek. And Carter Ramsey got the header. He made decent contact as well. But John Hall stood up to the challenge. His corner delivery is a flat one. And with that, the chance is allowed, or the change rather, is allowed to come in. Valley Cesnik and George Lambadaridis, seemingly two of the players who will be withdrawn. As is Will Bauer, the third player to be brought off. And so with that, we will see Jacob Alexander, Sepinando and Brady Quinn all brought into the game. So Nick Tolios just injecting a significant boost of energy into his team as they head towards the final 10 minutes of the 90. An attempt to hold out this persistent St Albans outfit. Cross sent in. Bresovic there to head it away. And now Alexander looks towards his fellow substitute in Hernando. Hernando looks to set away Van der Haas. Bryant, the number 16, gets the shot away, but well, from the tight angle, you saw what he was trying to do into the top corner. But unable to make the most of his chance. Really the first that he's had since coming on into the game. So yet again, Dandenong City pass up the chance to seal this game. Long ball over the top. Bullich is there. And you do sense just a little bit of tension from the Dandenong City bench and the players. They would really appreciate that third goal just to give them that extra sense of security. And as the game gets later and later, tiredness sets in more and more.
Keep going!
Just looking ahead for Dandenong City. Of course, no cup commitments to worry about for them, but they've got a big test next time out. King's birthday football when they head to Jack Edwards Reserve to take on the Oakleigh Cannons before they return here to Frank Holohan to welcome Melbourne Knights. And then it's the Dandy Derby the week after that. So a big few weeks coming up for Nick Tolios' team. And knowing that they're heading into that, perhaps off the back of consecutive wins, will bring a real feel-good factor into those games. That long ball, just not able to take control as Monac lost his footing at the vital moment. Hernando cops a shove, and an illegal one from Riccobene. And Dandenong City readying their final change of the evening and the final change of the night as Michael Martinovic prepares to come into the game. And with that he will indeed be able to. Taking the place of Tom Giannakopoulos. So Martinovic can provide some real pace in behind against a tiring St Albans defence. Of course, the third goal now will surely seal the 3 points for Dandenong City. Throw over the top for Van der Haas Bryant. It's inside, but Monac was there. The central ball, well, Danny Kim was almost able to pick it up. The chance still alive and almost getting the shot away is Brady Quinn. Important touch from Zidia, sets away Hernando. Hernando puts the cross in. Alexander's there. Doesn't have the space to swing a boot at it though. And the Dandenong defence scrambles the ball clear of the St Albans defence, I should say. And you just sense those series of substitutions just brought an extra level of energy to Dandenong. And really hunting that third goal to tie up the 3 points. But St Albans, for now, they remain in with a sniff. Long ball sent out to the right-hand side by Summerskill. And Murray wins a corner. So another chance, another set-piece opportunity for Dynamo. And the nervous tension continues to rise for Dandenong City. They know that if St Albans get just 1 goal, the additional enthusiasm that will breed will make the final few minutes anything but straightforward. Cross comes in. It's into a nice area as well. It's fallen out the way of Summerskill. Tried his luck from range, but got well under the strike. And that one never looking like it was going to challenge John Hall. He's now happy to take his time with the restart. Ramsey gets the shot away, wins his team yet another opportunity from the corner flag. This one a bit closer to the goalkeeper and a few bodies to look through. The far post delivery, the follow-up shot, and somehow St Albans have failed to find their way onto the score sheet. Final chance falling into the path of Carter Ramsey. But the snapshot, he couldn't keep it down. And it would probably be a bit excessive to say that this game has come down to who's taken their chances and who hasn't. But you do feel like St Albans' chances of, or hopes of pinching something as it would be, may well have been forfeited by their failure to finish the chances that have arisen. So final couple minutes of the 90. There is still time for a couple of attempts on goal for Dynamo. Long ball, yet again Ramsey involved, as he has been a lot since coming into the game. Out to Murray. Clever through ball, but Ramsey couldn't trap the ball. Takes out his frustration on the advertising boards. And maybe now some of that tension which has just been building up throughout the second half for Dandenong City starting to ease again. It'll take an almighty effort for the visitors to rescue something from here. So it looks as if it is the Oakley Cannons who have made a blistering start out at Paisley Park, a 2-0 lead in the first half hour. Which is more good news for Dandenong City. This could mean that they give themselves a real gap from their next closest competitors, whilst also closing the distance between themselves and the top 6. It has been the story of Dandenong City's season. They've been better than the rest, but not at the level of the top 6, scoring fewer goals, conceding more than all of the teams currently occupying those 6 positions above them. But the way things are heading tonight, it will be a positive weekend for Nick Tolios' side. That is unless there is a late twist to be provided by St Albans. Cross sent in, but well contested was the header, and it will be a Dandenong City goal kick as the final action of the 90 minutes. Confirmation that we will get 4 minutes of second half stoppage time, so 4 more minutes in which St Albans require 2 goals. They are to rescue a point from tonight's game. Long ball, looking for Murray. Lino was there. And Webster sends it high and long. For them coming together, Kim played his role. And foul called. So chance for St Albans. They haven't had the best dead ball deliveries tonight. That's probably been one of their main drawbacks. But they only need one to give themselves that glimmer of hope in the final few minutes. The cross in is a good one. And it skimmed off the top of a couple of heads. But John Hall stayed composed and took control. And yelling at his teammates to push up the field. Does not want to get stuck deep in their own half. Martinovic, that was an awkward one to try control. And Hernando, though, did enough to get the ball to Van der Haas-Bryant. Hernando again. But it's St Albans who come away with the ball. Well, the assistant's flag there. Not happy with the challenge that came in from Summerskill, so that will give Dandenong City the chance to just suck more seconds off the clock. Insidious lofts it inside the area, and coming for it was Bullich. He couldn't take control, and Van der Haas-Bryant had a golden chance to score the 3rd goal, but pulled his shot ever so slightly wide. Head in hands moment for the substitute. And yet again, we feel like we're in this position where Dandenong City haven't just been able to completely confirm their position as winners of this game. Maybe one last chance for the visitors. They've coughed up the ball in a dangerous area. Alexander looks to slide it through. Van der Haas-Bryant couldn't get there ahead of Marco Bullich, who, despite conceding the 2 goals, has been one of the more impressive players on the pitch this evening. This is Seb Hernando. Takes the chance to make the run himself. Thinks about using Martinovic. Does so eventually. It does look as if Dandenong City will be closing the gap to 6 points behind Port Melbourne, 8 behind Hume City, albeit Hume still to play later tonight. It's very much still in the finals race. The long range shot comes in, but it's well overhit by Cabrera. And will that be the final attempt on goal in this Saturday night contest? Indeed it will. That's full time. Dandenong City claim back-to-back wins. It's a 9th straight league defeat for St Albans Dynamo, who, as a result of that result and a few others around the grounds, slip to the bottom of the NPL Men's Victoria ladder. Work to do for Cam Watson, but for Nick Tolios, they head into a big month of games. Back in some decent form, back-to-back wins, and closing the gap to 6 points behind Port Melbourne and that 6th and final finals position. That's all the time that we have from tonight. Tim Atharinos and George Lambatarides, the scorers, as Dandenong City run out 2-0 winners. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and the NPL football continues later on tonight.